So my predecessor had put him in without doing anything. So I rang our logistics manager in Sydney, talked to Ivy, and I organised him to get some spare parts training on how to manage the spare parts department. All because I said I'd had enough and I needed to find out what's going on. Now I continued on my learning journey to try and find out how do I get further control of my day. But I also carried that on to business skills and everything else. And over the years I've constantly gone and done the training and development from a business point of view, and in that there was a lot of skills I developed in getting control of my day. And then 11 years ago I started coaching down here in Berwick, we're actually up in Emerald when we were up there initially, and coaching business owners on growing and developing their business. And we'll be working on their skills of sales, marketing, recruiting quality people, building their leadership skills, how to create a sustainable business systems and all that sort of stuff. And also the most important thing, guys, that's investing your profits. Not spending them on fancy cars and holiday homes and that. Invest them so as you can generate a passive income. And as I kept doing that and growing and developing those skills and coaching these business owners, what I found was that every time I'd come back for another session and we'd get them working on something and have them actually specifically working on activities between that session, whether it's a fortnight, a week or a month. And when I'd come back for the next session and sit down and say, well, how did we go? What do you reckon the words I heard were?
I haven't had time.
I didn't have time. Not enough hours in the day. Oh, I'm so hassled, I just can't. It's so busy around here in this business, I can't get anything done. I struck that time and time again. Things like a client that I work with out here in Hallam. He owns a gym, John. And when I started working with him after referral, he was working 7 days a week, flat out. You guys know what it's like trying to get your business up and going. It just doesn't stop. He had a gym for 9 months. He'd had a reasonable membership, but he was going 7 days a week, doing everything in the business, including running every session in the gym, morning and evening. Anyone been to a gym? Anyone run a gym? John was pretty tired. Almost to the point that he couldn't get fit, he just couldn't. So what we did was, I sat down and talked with John, and he had some incredible vision. It wasn't just about the gym, it was about the community work. The gym was just a conduit and a tool for him to be able to do the other things he wanted to do in his life. Is that what your business is like? It's just the conduit, or is it your life?
It should be just the conduit.
Very much so. So what we did was we got John to actually get everything out of his head, down on paper, and I got him to list all the activities in his business and then categorise them. So as I could then get him to start to plan how he worked in his business, plan how he worked his week with a default plan. And we had him working on certain categories on certain days. And then from then onwards, as we worked with John, he would just simply come in and plan his week and his days around that planning process and be able to get on with it. And another client was Dora. Well, she's a current client now, and she has 3 childcare centres. Has anyone got any association with childcare centres? Apart from children there? They're a pretty busy place to run, because they're not just a business, they also have all the government compliance in the business as well. Now, Dora owns 3 centres here in Melbourne, and 18 months ago she came to us to start working with us. Again, another one that was working 7 days a week flat out. She was getting really tired, no family time, and starting to notice the illness started to creep in. She was constantly getting sick of that. So we did the same. We got her starting to work her default plans and working through so she could then start to get some more control back in her day. So as I saw and worked through the things that I learned over the years, to actually start to manage and control my day, and I started applying it to my clients, I then developed my program that I work with now. Originally, the book that Rob showed, that was just originally a PDF that I would give to my clients when they started working with me. And then some of the girls from Motivational Speakers Australia last year read it and said, let's publish it. But it was what I developed to actually enable me to work with my clients and start to get on top of it. And as I reviewed all those things I learned, I actually saw that there were some key areas in your day, in your life, that you need to develop skills in to actually be able to get control of your day. Because it's not about time management. It's about getting in control. Time management's only a part of it. The skills you need to actually get control are far greater than just time management skills. And I developed a system that I now call the 4 inescapable components of controlling your day. Now, without the skills in each of these areas, you will always struggle to get control of your day. The first skill is your planning skills. You can't get away with creating success and moving forward unless you have some sort of a plan. Second one is your time management skills. Yeah, it's only a part of it. The third inescapable component are your self-discipline skills. Who finds that they're their own worst enemy? Yeah, very much so, we are. And then the fourth inescapable component is your people management skills. How well you work with the people around you. And when you look at them, planning breaks down to you need to have a clear understanding of why you are doing what you're doing. I've worked with a lot of business mums over the years. And one of the key whys is the fact that they've generally come out of a career or a really good role somewhere or job, they have children, and they want to keep themselves on that edge still. You know what it's like if you're out of the workforce for quite a number of years, you lose the edge and you get behind, and then when you come back, and how many have been out for quite some time and come back, how much work did it take to actually catch back up? And nowadays, you guys are in, you know, years ago, it used to be the men that went to work, didn't it? Now it's both. And now their careers are for both. It used to be the focus on the career for the male. Now we've changed. We're getting a balance, or we're trying to get a balance, and it's female and male careers. And when you come out of the workforce, you still need to keep the edge. So they turn around, they want to keep that edge. They still want to do something and be useful, in a sense, for a better word to use. But at the same time, they also want to be there for the family and children. Is that the goal? Who wants to have latchkey kids? Does anyone know what latchkey kids are? They have the door key around their neck and they come home after school and let themselves in.
Oh yeah.
And then when you come home from work at 5:30, 6 o'clock, you don't know what they've been doing for the last 2.5 hours. They want to be there whenever it's needed, but still keep themselves going. That's the why, isn't it? And sometimes, and I'll pick on Kylie here, sometimes we move in our business and we then got to come back to it, focus on our why again, and just re-establish what we're doing. You've also got to have a vision. Does anyone know Arnold Schwarzenegger? Would you say Arnold Schwarzenegger's been reasonably successful in his career?
Yes.
Yeah. He was interviewed on the Today Show some time back, and at the end of the interview, Carl Stefanovic asked him the question. He said, look, before we go, I want to ask you a question. If I was someone that was looking to have success in my life and really achieve something, what advice would you give me? And straight off the cuff, Arnold Schwarzenegger said, you have to have a vision. You have to have a very clear picture of what it is you want to achieve. And the only way to get that clear picture is to write it down, describe it. And if you're working with a business owner, the best question that we ask is, what is the picture of your business when it's finished? What does it look like? You all started with a picture of what you wanted to do with your business. Get it out of your head. What does it look like when it's finished? Well, I'm the owner of the business. I have a number of other VAs working for me. I have my bookkeeper doing this. I have this happening. It has this turnover. I'm based here in an office, or I'm still at home. Whatever. Very clear picture. The clearer the picture you have, the clearer that vision, far better chance you have achieving what you want to achieve. Then we come into that goal process, don't we? It's setting the goals of what you want to achieve. And when you look at the goals, it's not just business, it's your personal life too. It's hard to separate the two. We talk about work-life balance, but the reality is they come together. It's impossible to try and separate them when you've got a business. So we set our goals, our long-term goals, and then we focus then on what we want to achieve over the next 12 months. And then once you've done that, we need to then look at what the 3 most important goals for our year are. We don't want to be focusing on a whole heap of goals. We want to come back to the 3 most important ones. The ones that you really must achieve. Because if you achieve those, most of the others will achieve anyway. And from there we can develop our quarterly action plans and start to determine over the next 13 weeks, 3 months, exactly what we want to achieve. And then the activities that we're going to carry out each week to achieve them. We spell them out clearly. And these are the things that are taking your business forward. Not the everyday stuff you do, but the things that you want to focus on that are important to taking your business forward. And then we've got ourselves planned. We've got ourselves organised. Our 13 weeks is our reasonably concrete set as well. Instead of changing our marketing every 2 weeks or so because we've heard of a new idea, we actually put something in place and stick with it and give it a chance to work. Now, once we've got that, we've got our planning out of the road. We then come to our time management. And our time management is our weekly and daily planning skills. How we're going to utilise that time in those days.